Hello dear students, I'm here once again and we will continue learning about phrases, clauses, and sentences. In this video, we will learn about clauses, particularly the dependent and independent clauses. You may replay this video until you understand well our lesson and you feel that you are ready to do the activities given to you. In the previous lesson, we have learned about phrases. Let us have a short review then. In the following items, draw a star if it is an example of a phrase, but if it's not, draw a question mark. First, because Linda danced gracefully. Second, ripe fruits from the trees. Third, he smells the scent of flowers. Fourth, the girl wants to play. And fifth, wild flowers. For the first one, what do you think? Yes, we will place a question mark. Why? It is not a phrase. If you can recall, a phrase is a group of words without both a subject and a verb. So if you are going to look at it, it has a subject, Linda, and the verb, danced. Next, question mark or star. Very good, star. Why? It is an example of a phrase because it is simply a group of words without a complete thought and also without subject and a verb. What kind of phrase is it? It is a noun phrase. What's the answer for the third one? Yes, we draw a question mark. It is not a phrase. As we can see, there is a subject, he, and the verb, smells. For the fourth one, you're right, we should draw again a question mark. Why? Because this expresses a complete thought. It also has a subject, the girl, and a verb, wants. For the last one, what should we draw? Yes, a star. It is an example of a noun phrase. It does not have a subject or even a verb. It is a group of words that function as a noun. Great job! Now, look closely to those items with question mark. What have you observed about them? Excellent! As we have mentioned earlier, these items have a subject and a verb. Some of them can express a complete thought, but others don't. So how do we call them? Very good! They are examples of clauses. Do you know what a clause is? A clause is a group of words with at least a subject and a verb. They can be dependent or independent. Let us again study these examples and find the subject and verb. My neighbor helps the needy. The subject is neighbor and the verb is helps. Before they went abroad, the subject is they and the verb is went. When he received the message, the subject is he and the verb is received. She is a loving daughter. The subject is she and the verb is. Where I placed the book. The subject is I and the verb is placed. Well done! Now again, what have you observed on the given examples? Great observation! All of them have a subject and a verb. Some of them express a complete thought, like examples 1 and 4, while others don't, like examples 2, 3, and 5. Why is that so? Let us dig deeper into what we call the independent clause and the dependent clause. Let us first learn about the independent clause, which is also called the main clause. So, independent or main clause is a kind of clause that can stand alone as it can express a complete thought. Of course, it also has a subject and a verb. The independent will be a simple sentence when marked with ending punctuation marks. Here are some examples. My neighbor helps the needy. Does it express a complete thought? Yes. Does it have a subject and a verb? Yes, neighbor is the subject, helps is the verb. Next, real friends are God's special gifts to us. Does it express a complete thought? Yes. Where is the subject? Friends. How about the verb? The verb is are. Very good. Now, you are ready to learn about the other kind of clause, the dependent clause. So, what is a dependent clause? A dependent or subordinate clause also has a subject and a verb, but it cannot stand by itself because it starts with a subordinate word. So, it can only be a part of a sentence. To make this clear for you, let us study these examples. When he learned about clauses. Does it have a subject and a verb? Yes, it has a subject and a verb. So, where is the subject? It is he. How about the verb? Is the word learned. Very good. Now, the question is, does it express a complete thought? No? You're right, it doesn't express a complete thought. When he learned about clauses, what's next? Or what happened? There is a missing information. That's why we say it does not express a complete thought. Do you get it now? Let us continue with the next example. He answers his modules. Does it have a subject and a verb? Yes. The subject is he and the verb is answers. Does it express a complete thought? Again, the answer is no. Whenever he answers his modules, what? Again, there is a missing information. How about the third one? Because they followed the rules. The subject is they, and the verb is followed. Complete thought? You're right. There is again a missing information when we say because they followed the rules. Fourth, unless she completes her project. Does it have a subject and a verb? Right. The subject is she and the verb is completes. But then again, it does not express a complete thought. What makes these examples incomplete? Great! We have mentioned earlier that dependent clauses start with subordinate words. In these examples, the subordinate words are when, whenever, because, and unless. Other examples of subordinate words are than, rather than, whether, as much as, whereas, after, as soon as, until, whenever, now that, though, although, even though, because, since, so that, in order to, as, who, whoever, whom, whomever, whose, if, only if, unless, provided that, assuming that, where, wherever, how, as though, as if, that, whatever, which, and whichever. I hope that you now understand the difference between dependent and independent clauses. Let us then check your understanding. In the following sentences, underline the independent clause once and the dependent clause twice. First, because the test was difficult, many students got low scores. So, the independent clause is many students got low scores. And the dependent clause is because the test was difficult. The subordinate word that starts the dependent clause is next one. I usually do my homework while my mother is cooking. The independent clause is, you're right, I usually do my homework. Again, it has the subject and the verb, and it expresses a complete thought. The dependent clause is, while my mother is cooking. It has a subject and the verb, but it does not express a complete thought because it starts with the subordinate word while. Last one, before submitting your answer sheets, you need to check that they are complete. In here, the independent clause is before submitting your answer sheets. The independent clause is you need to check that they are complete. Well, congratulations! Again, you did a great job in this lesson. Just remember that in an independent clause, there is the subject and the verb, and it expresses a complete thought. Meanwhile, for dependent clause, it has a subject and a verb, but it does not express a complete thought, and it starts with a subordinate word. I hope that you are now ready to answer your activity sheets. That's all for now. Just do your best and God will do the rest. Happy learning and see you next time. Bye!